An outburst that continues to reverberate across the country. Two words shouted out during President Obama's Wednesday night speech have many asking this question. How did we get to a point where it's okay to yell "you lie" at the president while he's speaking to Congress? Give a listen.
There are also those who claim that our reform efforts would ensure illegal immigrants. This too is false. The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally. It's not true.
So how did we get to this point where you can call the President of the United States a liar while he's speaking in the halls of Congress? Joining us to discuss the question, Republican strategist Phil Musser and Obama supporter and CNN political analyst Roland Martin. Good to see you, gentlemen.
Hey, Frederica.
All right, Phil, let me begin with you because
Sure.
Congressman Wilson has said he's apologized. He picked up the phone. He called the president. The president says, okay, I accept your apology. But now there are members of Congress who say that's not enough. He needs to apologize on the floor to fellow congressional members. Do you agree?
Well, I think the congressman was intemperate in his remarks. I think he quickly recognized that and called the president. The president accepted his apology.
But should more be done?
Yeah, well, you know, actually, I'm not necessarily sure at this point it's totally necessary, because what's happened is it's become kind of a political piñata. It was a political piñata for the Democrats to, I think, kind of shift the focus of the discussion the night that he made it. Well, very specifically because ultimately the story became about one congressman yelling out an intemperate remark as opposed to the broader discussion over the policy that we were talking about. It was a convenient pivot. So the point is that the piñata has been hit. The piñata has been busted. I think the Democrats kind of continuing to pile on this guy at this point in time is counterproductive. I don't think there's a lot more gas in this engine, you know?
Okay, but is it not, what's at issue here? Is it not a complete disrespect of the presidency? And we're talking about a member of Congress in this outburst, and the apology is in reference to that, not necessarily about whether you are in agreement or not about health care reform, but the decorum, the behavior, and how it is not in sync.
I think he apologized. He apologized quickly and directly to the President of the United States for the comments he made in the well of the chamber. I believe that this kind of ongoing censure/resolution business, the President accepted his apology. Let's remember that. He said, I accept your apology, let's move on. I think we've got to take that at face value and move this debate forward to kind of the substance of the debate here. I think getting stuck up on this issue is kind of
So I do want to ask both of you then, what's at the core here? Roland, let me begin with you. What's at the core here? Is it politics or is it something else?
First of all, I think there's an absolute hatred by many people of this president. I've read a lot of comments online from people. I even got emails from folks who are saying, oh, the president does lie. Very interesting, though, that opencongress.org has the facts about Congressman Joe Wilson voting for the prescription drug bill that allowed for emergency rooms to provide health care to illegal aliens. And so he is actually on the record for casting a yay vote when it comes to that. Those are the facts. That's not simply an opinion. What you have here is you have people who simply cannot stand this president, do not like the fact that he won. And look, you see this conservative media-driven rally taking place in Washington, D.C. And what you have here is you have people who do not like the fact that he has won. And so what they are trying to do is discredit him at every turn. Now, when I hear people criticize the president for making that comment, when Senator John McCain came back the next day and said there are no facts to substantiate what Joe Wilson said, I want to know how many Republicans are going to call Senator John McCain a liar.
So I guess we're trying to.
Opinion.
So, and are we also trying to figure out, you know, the stage has been set, has it not, Phil and Roland, about all that precipitated this moment, the you lie moment, a lot of things, everything from the president not being welcome in American classrooms to people casually wearing T-shirts with his image and Hitler and the Joker, and even a prayer being led by a pastor who says he is praying for the death of the president. This is awfully cavalier, awfully casual, if not callous. So, Phil, where does this come from? And are we saying now that it's okay to openly criticize the president to get this anti-Obama movement fueled?
Well, I can speak for myself only, but I think all those things you reference represent fringe elements of probably the right, and they're fringe elements on the left in this country. And the bottom line is that the president was elected with I think a reasonable mandate. I agree with Roland about that. You know, to bring centrist change to this country, and ultimately what he's done is he's governed significantly to left of center. And so Joe Wilson.
No. He was Phil,
hang on one second.
He wasn't elected to bring centrist change. He was elected to bring the change that he described. You want to assign a certain level of change to him. He is leading the way he chooses to do so. You didn't criticize Bush for bringing a conservative focus, so don't try to say, well, it's about centrist. No.
Well, I think that if you want to really look at how he won with the middle of the country by persuading them with good rhetoric that he was not going to be an old-fashioned liberal. And I think in a lot of regards he's governed from with a very kind of leftist perspective. And so that is what I think has unearthed a lot of the passion that you see with disaffected Republicans, the conservative element in this country. And you ask about why would Joe Wilson have this kind of emotional outburst? I think it's probably partly the manifestation of having just been in the August recess and having these town halls where real Americans are saying, whoa, enough government in my life. This is wigging me out.
So, sorry, Phil. All the other members of Congress were also on August recess, and you did not see them act unbecoming as a member of the House.
Hey, look, I'm not, Roland, I'm not making apologies for Congressman Wilson. I think he, I've addressed that.
I didn't say you were.
But I'm trying to help your viewers here understand where I think a lot of this passion is coming from, especially on the right side of the right and the right center.
But are we saying this exemplifies giving? Are we saying now this is an example of how this offers license, whether you be a congressional leader or you be a private citizen, to chip away not just at President Obama, but the presidency as a whole?
Well, Frederica, first of all, you made a comment earlier. We have the right to criticize the President of the United States. I have been critical of issues where I disagree with the President. The difference is, what is the level of respect? And yes, you have people who do not respect the office of the President. The same thing happened when President Bush was there. You had people on the left who, frankly, were not speaking to the issues, who were attacking personally and who were being vulgar in their responses. But what you have here, we have a member of Congress who does this. He does indeed give license. You have people out there like Rush Limbaugh, oh, he should not apologize. And so what they're doing is they're attacking anything he does. The man kills a fly in the interview, all of a sudden he gets attacked. So this is a personal attack on the individual. It has nothing to do with the office of the president.
So Phil, in your view, is this the tip of the iceberg? Do you see that it's only going to worsen? We're talking about a presidency that's very young, 8 months?
I hope not. I hope that we can all kind of stick to the higher standards of decorum and debate in this country. And I think on this issue, it happened. The congressman addressed it in a straightforward manner, and we should move on because a lot of politics is in the air here about the aftermath of this thing.
Might this stand in the way of the president's agenda, what he wants to get done, simply because there is this anti-Obama sentiment?
No, I really don't think this is about that at all. I think the things that will stand in the way of the agenda are things like the fact that yesterday we were pointed a $1.38 trillion deficit, and we're going to have the largest deficit in the history of our country this year. The cost of these proposals.
And I'm still
hang on one second, Roland. The cost of these proposals are staggering, and so I think what you're going to see here in the next day is Max Baucus, who's going to roll out this health care plan. It will represent probably the last and best shot to get health care done in a lot of ways.
And on Republican.
Folks like Phil would have a lot of credibility with me if they had opened their mouths and protested when President Bush took a surplus and took it to a deficit when Republicans were spending like crazy. And this is the problem. People don't want to be honest with the facts here. Well, they want to say attack him, but ignore what their own party did when they were in charge.
Okay, and I'll have to have that be the last word. We're out of time.
Thanks,
Phil Musser, Roland Martin, thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining us.